Welcome to Therapist Spotlight.
Hello everybody, welcome to Anta's Therapist Spotlight, the podcast where we aim to showcase our wonderful therapists to the wider community. I'm your host Joshua Brooks, and with us today is Jeanie McClymont. Jeanie is a naturopath that has started her own food making business, so this is going to be really interesting and really a different sort of take on the medicine. So Jeanie, how are you today?
Great, thanks Josh. Thanks so much for having me on.
Hey, it's our pleasure.
Yeah, it's really great that you're doing this, getting the naturopaths out there and different modalities. It's fun to be a part of.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is going to be interesting because we don't have a lot of naturopaths who sort of go into their own supplementation and food and that sorts of manufacturing companies. So this is going to be really cool, and I can see a great networking potential for people to bring in some wonderful Australian-made products into their clinics. So first of all, how did you get into natural therapies? What brought you in?
I think like many of us, I was sick myself. So I grew up, my mum had chronic fatigue when I was a young child, and that was at a time when chronic fatigue was, all in your head. It's not really a thing. There was not a lot of help from Western medicine, and so she ended up seeing a naturopath, and so she was, I guess, open to natural therapies because of that. And yeah, I ended up seeing a naturopath through my own health problems, which I guess I was a child that had lots of ear infections, chest infections, looking back probably, dairy and gluten intolerant, but, not sort of knowing that sort of thing. But yeah, lots of antibiotics as a result of those ear and chest infections, and then gut problems after that. So yeah, I went away to boarding school and was just eating utter garbage because the food was so bad, and you just eat all the junk food that you can being a teenager. And yeah, I ended up in, I think I was 11, and I had symptoms. So we're just, having to pee all the time, but not being able to pee. And so I'd run off to the toilet and I was like, I need to pee, but there's no pee. But basically I had lots of, basically my bowel was so congested because I wasn't pooing enough, and I had like a really congested bowel. It was putting pressure onto my bladder. So ended up getting that treated. But I was not a well child and teenager. And so by the time I was sort of 16, 17, that's when I went to see a naturopath, homeopath, and got back on track with my health and became fascinated in this system that just made so much more sense to me than what I had witnessed in my childhood. That, I guess reclaimed my health then from that point onwards. I remember the first cold chest infection that I had when I was learning, and I was at college. I was 18, 19. I was like, oh no, this is when I would normally take antibiotics, am I going to be okay? And I just did all the garlic and the zinc and the C, and I was fine. I was like, oh wow, I have an immune system. I can beat these things. And since then, I don't think I've had antibiotics since, and I'm 41 now, and my kids, it's been invaluable for me, the skills that I learned to bring up my own children. And I guess that's how I got into natural therapies. And then there's a different story entirely how I got into food manufacturing, I guess. Yeah,
well, that's my next question is, so what made you I guess change from seeing clients into food manufacturing into creating these products? What was that journey like, and how did that happen?
Okay, so I was working in a health food store, and a bulk food bin became available. Something must have been discontinued, and we're like, okay, there's an empty bulk food bin. I was like, right, I'm going to make the healthiest brekkie I can make with all the stuff that we had. And so it was mainly for me. I was wanting it for me and the kids to make it easy to, easy for breakfast. And obviously was telling clients about it as well. And I started to get amazing feedback coming in. So that was the Blend 11. So that's the product that we sell most of. So it's just a seed-based breakfast, really. So it's it's really quite a heavy breakfast. So it's like high fat, fiber and protein, low carb, gluten-free. And you just sort of soak it overnight like a bircher muesli. That's how I was preparing it, telling everyone to do that, and started to get feedback coming in really consistently from our IBS and gut people saying, man, this is helping. I've never been regular in my life. And so, I came from, I guess, a poo problems myself, and now I'm like, yeah, at the farmers markets. We took the product to the farmers markets after the health food shop, so I'm the poo lady at the farmers markets. You know how you have the egg lady and the lettuce guy and the herb guy and the soap person. I'm the poo lady. So yeah, which is fun.
So well, every naturopath I talk to seems to be infatuated with poo, so it sort of fits, doesn't it? It's such an important window to our health. I find it's like if you talk to any vet or any like farmer, people who deal with animals, you know, animals can't talk and tell you what's going on, but it's one of the things that you look at. It's like, oh, okay, how are they pooing? What's coming out? And that's such a thing that we just flush and forget. But like, I mean, at our market stalls, we have signage just saying best poos ever with a giant picture of poo, a happy smiling poo. And it's like, man, let's get this out in the open. Let's get people talking about it, because it's a real silent epidemic. There's people that are really just, you know, struggling through in silence like I did. Yeah. And didn't even know there was an issue. Yeah. And I'm definitely one of those too. Like, I remember saying to my dad, I think God gave me secondhand bowels when I was created, because I was constipated my whole life. And it wasn't until I actually, you know, really got down and looked at gut health and looked at changing my landscape that I was like, oh, wow, this is what it feels like to not be bloated and stabbing pains all the time.
Just freeing. If your gut is out of whack, then everything else is going to be suffering. It's like that, one of those basic foundations. If you can kind of, like, I guess most people, if you can just do something every day that's going to be useful and helpful for your gut, then that affects so many different things. So
yeah. And the mental clarity as well was something that I couldn't believe, right? Like, you always hear about the gut-brain axis, but for me, myself, it was always like my brain was on fire. And when I finally looked at that, the clarity that came through and not having this like massive machine running all the time, it was phenomenal. That really opened my eyes. So what products do you make? How does this food manufacturing work? And I guess we'll go through some of your products and why did you decide for those mix? So we got the Blend 11 for the guts, and what else is on offer?
Okay, so I've got them behind me, so it's easier to see. If you're you'll have to look at the YouTube to see, but so the Blend 11, that's the low FODMAP one. So we actually had that certified by Monash Uni because we were noticing a lot of our customers were IBS people, and they were asking, is it low FODMAP, or saying, yeah, great, this fits into my diet. So the Monash certification has been great for that, and that's also allowed us to I guess get some testing done with the CSIRO. So we've had that product tested just to see what the gut microbes are producing when they're fermenting it, to try and figure out how it's, you know, doing its thing. It helps with butyrate production, so it supports butyrate production really nicely.
Fantastic.
It's well fermented by our gut bacteria, but it's not the rapidly fermentable like the FODMAPs, which will cause the bloating and aggravation. So that one fits really nicely into low carb, low FODMAP, keto type diet. So that's the original Brekkie seed blend. And then when I launched that first, it was 2012, and the paleo diet was just really exploding into Australia. So I was getting a lot of people, saying, oh, I can't eat millet, buckwheat and amaranth because they're not on the paleo diet. So the Blend 13, it's a paleo version. So it's just got a lot more fruit and nuts and no grain at all in it.
Cool.
And then a greens powder. So I would sell greens powders to everybody just because you see such beautiful results with skin, and I just believe skin's the organ you can see from the outside visually. If you can see great stuff happening with skin, obviously you've got good stuff happening internally as well. And so I just tried to make a greens powder with a point of difference by adding a good dose of aloe vera in a leaf gel. That would, connect nicely with the gut customers that we have for the Blend 11. So, and also great for blood sugar. And I love aloe. It's one of those. It's hard to get in a powder, so it's a nice, easy addition in there. And then I'm a bit of a chocoholic, so I made a Blissful mix because I was always, making that sort of thing in the health food store and telling everyone, oh, this is my recipe, and so I thought let's try to make it easy for people, because it's it's a hard thing to do, to learn how to make healthy snacks and healthy food if you've not kind of been exposed to it. So it's kind of like training wheels. A lot of the recipes that are out there are pretty dodgy for bliss balls and protein balls. So, and then you've got to get out your food processor and the amount of blenders that I broke on dates back in the days, so this mix, you don't actually need to use a food processor. It's all blended up for you, and just add water or coconut oil or something liquidy like coffee or ginger and turmeric juice or raspberries. You can add whatever you want to squash it up into make a mud, and then roll it into balls. So that's the Blissful mix.
Coffee and chocolate, you're like speaking my language. You're like
into
my soul right now.
You can make some really yummy treats with it and use it as the base for raw desserts and cheesecakes and that sort of thing as well.
Yeah, wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then along those lines, I've made something that's it's a burger mix. So you can make veggie patties, falafel balls, or crackers, like seed crackers. So yeah, just once again, training wheels makes it really quick and easy for people if they've not, made their own burgers from scratch or crackers from scratch. It just walks you through it, and it's a really simple mix. So yeah, they're all gluten-free, dairy-free, refined sugar-free, organic ingredients wherever possible. Look, I mean, it's a hard job being a food manufacturer. I fully understand now why, not everything is Australian grown and not everything's organic. Like it's really tricky to be able to source the quality that you want to put in with, and trying to keep your products at a sane price point so that people can afford them.
Yeah. Excellent. And so I guess kind of maybe a bit of a redundant question, but how did you find like your naturopathic training has really helped you with your food production? Like, did it give you that clarity to cut through some of those BS that you've been hearing about? Like, on the internet, like you said, there was a lot of different recipes. How do you find that that's sort of weaved in? And how have you found that naturopathic training has really helped you to create your blends and to create your mixes?
Yeah, I guess, well, knowing what I know about food and how that impacts people's health, I guess it's just always been about trying to create products that tick as many boxes as possible from a health perspective, but also work as a commercial product that's going to be able to sell, Yeah. So I guess 2012, it was becoming apparent that gluten-free was going to be a big major dietary shift. Sure. So I thought, man, let's just make everything gluten-free. I don't want to have any gluten products in our range and in our facility. And vegan, obviously, like being completely plant-based is, everyone's kind of looking towards incorporating more plant-based foods into their diet, whether they want to be vegan or not. It's to use plant-based ingredients wherever I can is what we're aiming for. And organic, like, I mean, trying to source ingredients from people who are looking after their corner of the planet and, looking after the soil and not just pumping in chemicals. So look, try our best. It's very difficult to tick every box every time. And, and obviously to not add in preservatives and fillers and all the junk that, commercial food manufacturing is a scary place. It's kind of, I've had lots of pressure from various business advisors to just make it cheaper, put fillers in it, don't worry about organic, all that sort of thing, because ultimately food production is about profit, or it always has been. And I've kind of approached it from a different start point to most food manufacturers, I guess.
And how have you found that in terms of the journey with, I guess maybe it's good because you're a smaller company. Have you found that that's easier for you to say, well, we don't want to do it that way. We'll build our brand and we'll build ourselves up from that family company? How have you found that sort of journey, like you were saying? Has that been an advantage, do you think, or is it,
It has been. As being a small food company, we use farmers markets still to this day, and they're a great testing ground for new products and getting feedback face-to-face from customers and testimonials and, that touch point. And we, as a small company, it is much easier to adjust and to change things and to be in control of your own brand. A lot of the big food companies are quite jealous of that, I guess. So that for them, it's very difficult to alter recipes and alter packaging and alter, direction, all that sort of thing. But for small food companies, it's easy. Yeah.
And like you were saying, I guess, especially because you're in such close contact with your customers, if they want something or if they have qualms or if they have different ideas, it's so much easier for you to start to collect that data and actually look at where the market's trending and then create products that can really help fill that niche, I would imagine.
That's right. Yeah.
And so can we talk a little bit about the manufacturing? Is it all manufactured in Australia? Like how does that sort of side work for production? And
So to begin with, I had 2 empty protein powder buckets, 2 3-litre buckets, and that was the start point for Blend 11. So just making up very small batches in my partner's duplex kitchen and taking them to the markets. And then we eventually moved into a place that had a double garage, which we had converted into a, Food Council certified manufacturing, double garage. And then that just became so crowded. Everything was overflowing out onto the driveway. We had to put a shed on the driveway, and then it was kind of stacked up in the lounge room, and it was like, oh my God, that's taking over my whole space. So then we found a warehouse that we could rent, and that was next door to the House with No Steps. So House with No Steps were doing a lot of our mixing and bagging for us for quite a while. So they're an organisation that employs people with various disabilities to they were doing all our labelling and all our, scooping into bags and sealing, and that was working beautifully. And we've only just sort of started to take on the production ourselves back again.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's in our Burleigh Heads warehouse. And we're looking now at contract manufacturing. So contract manufacturing is basically the next sort of step along, and that allows us to produce that, more efficiently. So hopefully we can then bring our cost down, and larger batches have the ability to supply some of the larger sort of pharmacy chains and that sort of thing. Produce more product more efficiently, lower our overheads, that sort of thing. So that's what we're looking at doing at the moment, but we're still producing everything in Burleigh at the moment.
Yeah, beautiful. And I guess that's such a gift that you can sort of give as a small business, is like you said, you can actually start to employ different people that may not have got that sort of employment and give them skills and really become part of the community and become a really well-known name. It's just, I love that small business rising and what you can do for people. It just always inspires me and makes me happy. Yeah,
it's been quite a journey. It's been a I have to pinch myself all the time. I was like, what? How did I get to here? Yeah.
So do you, maybe I'm getting into some trade secrets here, but do you have any sort of new products on the horizon that you may be willing to tell us about? Or
quite a few things that are...
what's sort of the next direction for you, so if people can know and to see and to, what are you sort of branching into, or what would you like to branch into?
Well, we stumbled upon something really interesting a while ago, just looking for a new warehouse because we were going to, upsize the warehouse, but now we've switched to maybe do the contract manufacturing. But we stumbled upon a company that's making natural disinfectant. Just like, there's no such thing as an accident, but this was an accident, kind of a non-accident, I think. So we stumbled into their warehouse and I was like, no, this warehouse is not suitable, but what are you guys doing? And they were making this natural disinfectant substance. Just by the process to make it is you've just got water running through this machine and electricity and a bit of salt, and it spits out this super powerful antimicrobial that's been used for washing out wounds in, World War I before antibiotics. So it's real non-toxic, doesn't hurt, skin, and it's, so we're hoping to be able to, I won't say any more, but we're moving towards that type of product in our range.
Sweet, that's awesome.
So, I think that's the most exciting thing for me at the moment. And then there's also, we are doing other stuff. That's what's at the top of my mind right now.
That's right. Yeah. Well, again, we don't want to take away too many of those secrets that can be dropped for everybody.
Yeah.
So we've just come up on time, but thank you so much for sharing yourself with us. I personally always love to promote wonderfully Australian-made products with wonderful Australians, because, you know, we've got such beautiful gifts to give to everybody, and shopping local is one of my biggest passions. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing yourself with us. If people want to get your products, how do they get it? Where do they contact you? Do you do orders across Australia? Are you just in local markets? How's it working at the moment?
So people can come and see us at our local markets, which is mainly we have people from Noosa down to Byron Bay, so a lot of markets in that area. So our website, goodmix.com.au, has a market calendar to show you where our market stalls are. We also supply a lot of health food stores. So we have some distributors, or you can order directly through us as well, with a wholesale account for practitioners and gyms and that sort of thing. So pharmacies, health food stores. You can buy directly through our website as well. Some of the independent grocers you'll start to find product in as well. So we're starting to get product out into different channels. Just Google goodmix.com.au, and there's a heap of info there. You can find a lot of product info, heaps of recipes, and hopefully there's something useful in there for everybody.
Well, I definitely know I'm going to order some, because it just sounds delicious and wonderful, and I can't wait to eat it. So thank you so much.
Yeah, love to send you some. Thanks for having me on.
No, it's been wonderful. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. And guys, as always, links will be in the description below. Click on it, go out to Jeanie and order it, and see him at the markets if you can. But yeah, we'd just like to thank you so much for coming on and sharing yourself with us. It's been wonderful.
Thank you, Josh, for having me.
Oh, beautiful. And for everybody else out there, have a great day, guys, and we'll see you all later. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Therapist Spotlight. If you would like to know more about ANTA, visit us at www.anta.com.au.